Hello and welcome back to the Purposeful Shift. I am Emma Bryant and I am so glad that you are joining me for today's episode, one that's all about healing, hope and moving forwards. If you've ever felt weighed down by what's already happened, a decision, a change, a loss, or even a season that didn't go quite as you planned, this episode is for you. This episode takes inspiration from a popular song that I expect you might be familiar with, and it's called Stop Crying Your Heart Out by Oasis. I know it sounds like a weird choice to base a podcast episode around, but please bear with me, because there's a line in the song that says, "You can't change what's been and gone." It's a simple lyric, but it captures something powerful about mindset and life purpose, because we all go through moments when we want to rewind, to fix something, to redo something in our past. But as the Gallagher brothers tell us, we can't change what's been and gone. And we know that logically. We know we can't go back. We know we can't change what's already happened. And yet we still replay things in our mind over and over and over again sometimes. We still think about what we could have done differently, what we should have said, or what might have happened if we had made a different choice. So today I want to explore what it really means to let go of the past, not in a way that dismisses that something happened, but in a way that allows us to move forwards with a little bit more clarity and a little bit more intention. Because when we can accept that we can't change the past, when we learn to let go of what's already been and gone, we can open doors to what's still possible for us. Our past thoughts can be like weights that we carry that take a toll on our minds. And I think many of us carry more from the past than we actually realize. Of course, we carry memories, but we often question situations or things that didn't work out. And when we dwell on those thoughts, they can start to shape how we think about ourselves now in our present times. They might be quiet thoughts that are running in the background of our minds. Perhaps they might sound something like, I should have done that differently, or I missed my chance, or I'm not ready yet. And if those thoughts are running on repeat, they can start feeling like truth to us. Our brains can start to believe those thoughts as if they are our actual reality. But of course, we know they are not our realities. They are not our truths. They're just reflections of something that's already been, that's already happened. And we can change those thoughts and those reflections to suit us rather than hold us back. I really enjoy listening to and reading the work of Kirsty Gallagher. Recently, I heard her say that we don't always hold on to things because they're good for us. We hold on to them because they're familiar to us. So even if something doesn't feel good, and even if it keeps us stuck, we might still hold on to that thought or that memory. And if it's familiar to us, if we feel comfortable there in that space, then letting go of that thought and letting go of being in that familiar space puts us in a position where we have to choose to step away from something that feels known, that feels comfortable, into something that feels uncertain to us. And of course, that can feel uncomfortable and scary even, depending on what we're stepping away from and into. And if you are feeling worried about letting go of past thoughts, I'd like to raise that letting go doesn't mean pretending that something didn't matter. It doesn't mean pretending that something didn't happen. If a situation has been taking up space in your mind, it's highly likely that it did matter to you. And letting go of it doesn't mean that it didn't affect you, and it doesn't mean that it wasn't important. But what we can do is recognize that it has already played its role in your life. It's done what it needed to do. And now you get to decide, do I keep carrying this with me now, or am I ready to move forwards without this? If your mind is anything like mine and it replays conversations that you've had, so I replay things that I've said or how I've acted in certain situations, and I replay them over and over and over and again. And you might do that too. And if you do, you might get caught in loops of if onlys. So if only I'd not said that, or if only I'd started doing that sooner, or if only I'd been brave enough to do X, Y, or Z, or if only I'd made a different choice in that moment. But all of those if onlys, they obviously live in our past, and our past is closed for editing. We can't change it. We can reflect on it and we can learn from it, but we cannot rewrite it. And of course, each of these experiences, even the ones that are painful or uncomfortable for us, they shape who we are right now. They shape our strength and our empathy and our direction. So when we spend too long wishing that we could change what's been and what's happened, we lose sight of the growth that has already happened because of those situations. So coming back to the Oasis lyric that you'll never change what's been and gone, there's an acceptance in those words, an acceptance that some doors close for a reason. Maybe those doors are work related, or they're family related, or they're friendship related, or they're about your relationships with other people, perhaps your spouse. There's also acceptance that some stories finish because your next chapter can't start until they do. And importantly, although we cannot change what's been, we can change what comes next. You can choose how you respond to the past and the present. You can choose what you carry forwards and what you leave behind. You can choose to see yourself not as broken, but as becoming. And you can choose what you learn from a situation, and you can choose what you let go of. So if you think you might be clinging to the past because it feels safer than the unknown or uncertain future, you might take a moment to think about what you would like your next chapter to look like. And if it's even possible for your next chapter to begin, if you don't loosen your grip on what's already been written. Until you choose to let the past stop determining your present and your future. The past can, of course, inform us, but it doesn't need to define us. If we can accept that there's nothing more that we can change about what has already happened in the past, we can start to redirect our energy towards what is happening for us and what's coming next, and the future that we do want, the future that we choose. There's another lyric in the Oasis song, Stop Crying Your Heart Out, that I also love, and it's don't be scared, your destiny may keep you warm. And this acts as a reminder to me that your future, your destiny, your purpose, it's not something to fear. Even if we can't see it yet, it's coming and it's still unfolding. So when fear does creep in, whether that's fear of failure, fear of change, fear of being too late, and this happens to me all the time, I try to remember that I am exactly where I need to be, and you are too. Every experience, every detour, every speed bump in the road, every quiet season that we take is preparing us for what's coming next. And though it can be really difficult to acknowledge in the moment, sometimes what feels like a setback is really a setup for something that's far more aligned for us. And one of my new favorite quotes that I know I've mentioned before is, rejection is redirection. And that feels like it fits really well here. In last week's episode, I talked a little about manifestation and future-focused thinking. And today I've got a simple exercise for you to explore future-focused reflection. So if it's safe to do so, you might want to take a piece of paper or open your journal and draw 2 columns. If you label one, what I am releasing, and the other, what I am creating. And it's important that these are statements and not questions. So under what I am releasing, write down everything that you are ready to let go of. Old stories, doubts, expectations, fears, the things that have been keeping you in the past and keeping you looking backwards. Then under what I am creating, write down your feelings and actions and beliefs that you want to move forwards. So confidence, clarity, joy, self-trust, the momentum that you want to have. Once you've done this, take a moment to read what you've written and to really feel the words. This exercise is a small act of reclaiming your energy. It helps to serve as a physical declaration that you are ready to stop crying your heart out over what's been and gone, as Oasis tell us, and start smiling towards what's coming. Looking forward to a brighter future where you are in control of your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. This is really what the Purposeful Shift is all about. Taking what we can from past situations and using that knowledge to decide our futures. And it is a journey that isn't quick, and it doesn't need to be. There is no need to change everything or to act dramatically or to act instantly. Change can be more effective when you sit with your thoughts and allow yourself to really feel and to know that you are evolving as the person that you are destined to be. This is why these episodes encourage you to reflect and to dream and to imagine the person that you want to become. I have some additional questions that you might reflect on and sit with, which I will pop in the show notes in case you want to give yourself some more time to reflect in this space. And if you want to share anything that comes up for you, you can always reach me on Instagram at The Purposeful Shift. To quote Oasis just one last time, hold on to hope, let your smile shine on, and trust that your destiny, whatever shape it takes, will keep you warm. Thank you for listening to The Purposeful Shift and allowing me to be a small part of your day today. If you haven't already, please follow the podcast to be notified of future episodes. Next week, I have a special guest episode with the lovely Kelly Peters. Kelly is a spoken word poet who has undergone a significant life shift in the last year. She's moved from a sleepy Somerset village to a new city, from a house to a van, and from writing poetry in secret to headlining open mic nights. This episode is bound to leave you feeling inspired and ready to follow your dreams. So until then, take care and keep shining on. I will see you soon.